Good evening. Hello. Hi, Diego.
Hello,
Hello,
thanks for
hello.
having me.
Thank you for being here. So it is the 10th of July. I am Laura Maria Caldarone. This is 14 Days to Change. And with us, we have Diego Pinheiro, a Brazilian journalist. Diego, you, as you know, you are our 18th story in this series, but it's actually the second time we
Yeah,
speak,
for sure.
second interview,
Mhm.
right? So the first one was on the 26th of June, exactly 14 days ago. A little bit longer than 14 days ago, because 2 weeks ago, I think we spoke a couple of hours earlier, and right now it's evening. I think you had lunch already, right? So it's
Yeah,
here in Germany, where I am at, it's almost 7 in the evening, so I'll have dinner soon. But you now can do this after lunch. So I'm going to show you bits and pieces of the video
okay.
that the recording of 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to show you everything, but before I press play, I'd like to just keep in mind the numbers of the cases, the total cases and total deaths that Brazil had 2 weeks ago, and the total cases and deaths that Brazil has today, just so we can see how much things have changed in 2 weeks. So on the 26th of June, Brazil had a little bit over 1.27 million cases. And today, the latest numbers that we see today, Brazil has a little bit over 1.75 million cases. So that's quite a big jump cases wise.
Hmm.
Death in June, so on the 26th of June, there were almost 56,000 deaths. To be exact, there were 55,961 deaths. And unfortunately, that number has also increased today, 10th of July, but I'm looking at the numbers of the 9th of July because of the time difference,
Hmm.
is 69,184 deaths. We'll discuss what changes have taken place in the last 2 weeks, but for now, let's watch your video. Diego, I'm gonna ask you to go on mute,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna share the video with you. So just let me know that you can see it and that you can hear it, because I've had problems before. So you should be able to see it. And now, tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Of course. Nice to meet you. My name is Diego Pinheiro. I'm from Brazil. I'm living in a small town near to São Paulo. It's a big city in Brazil. I'm working as a journalist from an independent online journal based in São Paulo called O Prefácio. From then, I wrote many of stories, but actually, I am working hard with news from the pandemic, and I'm 26 years old, just for 1 month till now.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank
And
you.
talking about Brazil, tell me, what is it that is happening right now? So, what's the most important topic? What are the most important news that are happening right now in your country? Because as we know, the latest numbers of Brazil are that you have over 1.2 million cases, confirmed cases, and you have over 55,000 deaths.
Yeah.
They're very stark numbers, unfortunately. And tell us a little bit. What are people talking about right now? What's the
Okay.
topic?
Now, the Brazilian people are talking about the return of education universe uh, since I think April, maybe March. All the schools are closed because of the pandemic,
Mhm.
but a lot of I don't know how to say, um, organizations from the education universe are discussing about the necessity of return that activity of the education here, and the federal government says this type of thing we return maybe in August,
Okay.
but it's not clear yet, because a lot of children and a lot of teachers are afraid of the risk of the contagious.
Yeah.
And so the strongest topic now is about that. But as I said to you days ago, there was a story about a scandal about the press assessor of the Sun's president. He was in jail,
Mm.
inside of a friend of president's house. So it's very hard to believe that our president are is not giving the right, say that,
The right importance to the
yes,
pandemic.
from the pandemic. So what we gonna do with this type of government? I am shocked. I don't know how to work with that.
You know, it's unfortunately Brazil is having a problem with their government, with the reality that unfortunately the government hasn't done the
Yes.
necessary things, the necessary measures in order to stop, to prevent the spread of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it has happened to Brazil, but it also is the reality of many countries in the world. And I was actually speaking to a couple other people in the last few days, also interviewing them,
Mm-hmm.
people from very, very different backgrounds, very, very different countries, and even the situation that their countries are in, very different to Brazil, to Germany, where I live.
Mm-hmm.
But many of the problems are the same. The reasons might be different, but the problems are the same. And
Mm-hmm.
wherever we see a problem with the government, so the relationship between the citizens and the government, if there's a lack of trust, if there's an issue between, if there's bad experience, past experiences,
Mm-hmm.
the response to the pandemic has been lacking, has been bad. And unfortunately, it is true also all over Latin America. It's not only
Yes.
Brazil, but right
Mm-hmm.
now, I saw that yesterday, the number of new cases was around 40,000 in one day. And a few days
Yes.
earlier, it was around 55,000 in one day. Brazil is very close to, or is very similar with the United States also. The United
Yes.
States,
Mm-hmm.
in the last few weeks, months, their average has been around 20,000 cases per day. In the last few days, those cases have also increased to around
Mm-hmm.
33,000 a day. So that makes you see that it doesn't matter if you are a country that technically should have done well, like
Mm-hmm.
the United States. It's very, very similar. What I saw, when was it? I think a week ago, or a little bit longer than a week ago, an amazing video on social media. I am unaware who produced it, but whoever created it is incredible. And it's a video that shows the Brazilian people saying enough, that you will each work for each other. You don't care anymore what the government is or is not doing, that you will fight for the 3%, you know? That it's not, for those that are not familiar with Brazil, and of course tell me more about it, the situation is that unfortunately the President Bolsonaro from the beginning has downplayed the pandemic, has downplayed the severity of the virus, has joked about it too, saying it is just like the flu, has continuously not worn a mask, has continuously shake hands with people, did events and gatherings where there was no social distance. And a few weeks ago, he also publicly said, what can you do? Everybody must die one day. And I saw this amazing video the next day, like very, very fast it was created, and it went around on social media showing that no, it's not okay even if one person, one Brazilian dies. How is the atmosphere? How is the feeling? Is it still this unity that was created the next day after his remarks, or what is it? How is it?
I was talking about that with many of sources in my stories from the journal, and I was realizing that people are concerned about the days after the pandemic here in Brazil. What is change? Uh, what will be the society, you know? And everybody says a unique thing. The behaviors will be more concerned about the feelings with each other, um, the connectivity with each other. So, as you said, the Brazilian president are a joker, as I can say that, and at the very start of the pandemic um, was making a jokes with the USA president, saying that he was a friend of him because the believers are similar. The two of them believes that uh, the coronavirus was like a flu. It's not a thing to be concerned about, but now the things are changed so deeply here. Everybody, at the beginning, me too was um, not giving the pandemic the right um, the right
Yeah.
the right thing. But as I start to read the news and to walk outside my house, I was seeing the people wearing masks, and I definitely sit in my chair and thought it was going on very quickly. So I need to do my part. So this day at this day, I start to searching about the pandemic and write about the things about the pandemic.
So you just mentioned the masks. I read, when was it? I think 2 days ago. Today's Friday. Yeah, 2 days ago that the federal court in Brazil announced that President Bolsonaro has to wear now a mask when he goes in public, or he would be fined 350 euros, if I'm not mistaken, a day for not wearing one. And the reason for this is because up until now, so end of June, he has stubbornly not wanted to wear a mask. it's been 2 days since the news, a little bit. Has the news died down in Brazil? Are they still talking about it? Has President Bolsonaro appeared in public already? And if he has he worn a mask or no?
I was searching about that before we start the interview, and I saw something interesting. The mayor from São Paulo city was contaminated. I don't know how to say that.
He was what? Sorry.
I will search here. Just a second.
Yeah. He was infected or no?
Yeah.
Infected.
Infected from the coronavirus, and he was ordered to go home and stay there for maybe 2 weeks from his doctor. And yesterday he returns to the job, but the Bolsonaro's universe are joking with the major's reality. Bolsonaro was talking about, oh, you're such a idiot to go in your home and stay there just to wait the imaginary flu
so still
go away.
So still not taking it
yes
seriously, still making.
Unfortunately, he continues to think about that, think about this type of things. It's horrifying. I don't know where it's going on. I don't know. But I must say, I truly believe Bolsonaro's will not resist many times from now. I think.
I hope not, because if
Me too.
He doesn't change his attitude
yes.
and his response towards the pandemic, then he really doesn't deserve to be there, because he is the leader. He has all these millions of lives in his hands. So all the citizens of Brazil, they follow his examples. He makes the rules. And you know, the reaction of President Trump and the reaction of President Bolsonaro at the beginning was the reaction. Also, you mentioned that even you at the beginning, you were a bit skeptical about the virus. You didn't think it was that serious. But the difference is that you informed yourself. You started wondering, you started understanding. And once you understood, you took it seriously. And many other presidents and many other people from around the world that were like you changed their mind and started reacting and acting. Unfortunately, President Bolsonaro is not one of them. And it seems that no matter how much noise the Brazilian people do, and how much also noise the international community and the international media outlets do, because of course we write, we see, we read about reports on Brazil from other countries. And just like there is horror when we think of the United States, there is horror when we think of Brazil.
Yes.
It's I really, it's really sad. And I don't know, I can see that also from what you were saying before. There's sadness, there is fear, obviously, because your healthcare system wasn't that good to begin it with, correct?
Yes.
Also.
About that, I will just complete your because until now, in the Bolsonaro's government, we had 3 different ministers of health. three, nobody could stay with this job because Bolsonaro's shoot them from this job. I don't know.
And this is now. We're talking about the changes happening now, this year, with the pandemic.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
Another thing I would say is last year, before all this start, Bolsonaro's retired uh, all the investments from the camps of youth, search, and all the things around that. But now he's wondering if these scenarios don't work, our country will broke in many parts. So it's strange how he changed his mind, but in the same way he maintained very strong his beliefs about the flu. I I really can't understand his thoughts. I can't understand. And now one of the things I am searching for from this my new story is really that point. Even last year, Bolsonaro's make don't give all the importance from this type of universe, the youth, the search.
Health, yeah.
Yeah. Now he's doing that, but I think it's not because he's concerned, really concerned, but about the pressure from other camps of the government.
Could be. It's
Making him do that.
either way, if it's the pressure of other branches from the government or other people or the citizen, or it's his concern, either way, it's positive for Brazil. But it would have been nice if it was done earlier, or
Yes.
faster. Remaining just in the topic with healthcare system, one of the things that Brazil has, which makes it harder also to be able to respond to this pandemic, are the favelas. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How has the response been? How is it for the people there? Just tell us a little bit about that, because it remains with the fact that you mentioned that the healthcare system before the pandemic was suffering in Brazil. And now with the pandemic, it is obviously worse. And the favelas are one area that is most difficult, right?
In one of my stories, I was talking about a specialist from it's called something like coronavirus search from São Paulo city. He was a searcher about how the coronavirus was changed the São Paulo scenario, and he was wondering at that time about the favelas. I remember he saying to me, this type of things, washing hands and making distance from yourself, it's a thing from the media class. I don't know how can I say.
It's a thing of the privileged. Those
Yes,
that water.
because when you are living in a favelas world, you can make distance. You live with 5, 6, 7 people in only one room. So you can make that. How can we work with the pandemic with this type of people? So some one of them even don't have something to clean his hands. So it's a tragic scenario, but I must say uh, the horrifying scenario until now was when the coronavirus started to come to Amazonas. When coronavirus start the pandemic in Amazonas was a scenario of chaos, I must say, because there were not a sufficient uh, um, hospitals to treat the people, and many of them were dying. But now I wrote I know Amazonas is clean, is a safe place
right now,
to live now.
and it needs to be kept that way.
Yeah, São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro are the worst places to live. So I am concerned because I live in a city just miles away from São Paulo, and my region was was called the next focus of the pandemic in the state of São Paulo. So I really can't go outside my house now, even to breathe an air, because starting a scenario of chaos here too. That's the reality.
And Diego, now that you mentioned that the where you live is considered and that it will be the next hotspot, the next outbreak there in Brazil and of the city of Sao Paulo. You just said, of course, that you're afraid and you don't know what's going to happen, and you can't even get out of your house or go out of your house. And I just thought about one thing. Here in Germany, thankfully, at least in the area where I live, even though it was a little bit difficult at the beginning when everybody started doing it, after a few weeks it was okay with online delivery. So to order things from the supermarket to be brought at home. How is the situation there where you live, or in Brazil in general? Do they have, is it easy or easier to have groceries delivered at home?
Now, this type of thing is growing here. Me personally, I'm receiving a lot of my dog's food because I can go away. But I know too. It was one search about the fashion universe here from Brazil, and the conclusion about this study was the online universe, and was growing up much hard here. Even a lot of stores are closing doors because there's no clients. Uh, a lot of others stores are
Going bankrupt.
investing in the online universe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, investing,
you know?
so they're
Yeah, and a lot of rich women that I know are making wishes in online scenario and receiving products. So I think the online universe will be opportunity here to continue to live.
For sure. So then that means that right now, it is possible that you are, it is okay for you to stay home. You don't need to go out, correct?
Yeah.
You work from
Right.
home, you get your dog's food delivered home, and you also get your groceries delivered home.
Yeah.
That is a privilege also.
Yeah, but I must say my psychologic
Of course, yeah, your mental health is different.
But conscious is bigger than the necessity of go away.
Yes. It's very difficult. And what are your hopes? What are your concerns? What is it that you think is going to happen in the next few days, in the next few weeks, that you want to happen, that you don't want to happen? Just tell us a little bit about that, your thoughts, your hopes, your concerns.
I want, but at the same time, I don't want, because I know it brings me a big risk of contagious. But I want to start to walk outside my house, just a little bit, see some houses, some stars, the moon. But at the same time, I am concerned about, okay, I am going outside my home, but I can be contagious in the same time. But I am wondering just, I know the Brazilian people are can't stay at home anymore. Everybody is starting to being crazy.
Need to get out.
Yeah, and so I think if the quarantine continues here, the population will start to broken the rules, to start to
ignore the rules.
Yeah, to walking outside, talking with each other, because as I spoke to anthropology from Portugal, there are some societies that basically live with the liberty. Brazil, Portugal, Spain, and even the Latin societies living with the meaning of liberty. If you retire, if you isolate this this type of thing, the society will start to transform, to be transformed, and that is what I am concerned about. If we can have the liberty, what will be our scenario after the coronavirus world, you know? Will we be less independent, less free, less communicative, talkative?
So you are thinking more about after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But what about in the next days, in the next week?
Days.
So in the very near future? I understood that you said that the Brazilian people are sick of it, of the quarantine. So there's also the fear that they're going to break the rules and then start talking to each other, start gathering, which of course means a higher risk of transmission.
But the next days, I have fear about the respect of the quarantine.
Yeah.
I think nobody will respect that anymore. Everybody will start to go away, to talk with other people, you know, just live the life. Forget about the coronavirus. I need to leave. I don't need to be in jail. My grandfather told me yesterday he is feeling like he is in a jail because he can't go outside his apartment. It's sad to hear that, you know. That's my feeling too. But where I live, I had a little bit more liberty to walk, to breathe, you know. Where he lives is the center, the São Paulo center.
Yeah. No.
So he definitely can go outside his apartment. But my as I said, my fear is that the quarantine will not be functions, you know, will not work anymore.
And until when are you supposed to be in quarantine, in lockdown?
I am in quarantine since February.
But Brazil.
Brazil, the quarantine starts to work since February.
But when does it end?
Don't end, didn't end.
So there's no date. The
No date.
Bolsonaro government has not said it finishes in
No, definitely not. Quarantine is continuing here.
Forever, the whole country.
The whole country. But at the same time, as I said to you, the education system are discussing about the return.
And the return in August, you said.
You know, but the quarantine is here. She never stopped it. You know.
But you see people gathering. You see Bolsonaro and other people in crowds.
No.
A few weeks ago.
No, just in beach.
A few weeks ago, there was Bolsonaro with the horse, riding a horse.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Yeah, so, and there was a crowd also. So people were outside. So what's the quarantine?
Yeah, you know, as I said to you, nobody will respect the quarantine.
Respect the quarantine, even before, so even now
yeah,
it's worse, yeah.
If Bolsonaro's even respect the quarantine, how can the rest of us respect this rule, you know?
Yeah.
Our government, our president are making things that the WHO, you know, are saying
organization, yeah.
is not
recommended.
It's not recommended to make. Go outside walking with horses.
It's Diego, it has been very sad, but very interesting to learn more about not only you and your experience with the pandemic, but also what Brazil is going through. to finish this conversation today, I just have one more question for you.
Please.
If you could speak to a future Diego, a Diego that is here with us in 14 days, what message would you give this future Diego?
Okay. I would say the future Diego, you are a survivor. You're a survivor. And if you're there now, you can continue to do your job, to inform people about everything and be happy. Just that.
I like that message. And it is a strong message. Just continue doing what you're doing. You are a survivor, and be as happy as can be and as cautious.
Yeah.
And Diego, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy your Friday. The weekend is almost here. Try to relax.
Okay.
And I will see you in 14 days.
Okay, thanks for invitation.
Thank you. See you in 14 days. Bye, Diego.
See you. Bye.
So, Diego. So that was the first time that you saw this video.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't see anything about the first interview. How does it feel to hear your past self from 14 days ago
Really
giving
strange.
you this message? Yeah, right? You are a survivor. To continue informing the people, no?
I am that person now.
You are that.
I am still doing my job. I am free. I am here with you again.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. And what about your hopes and your concerns? Have they changed? Are they the same? What has changed in the last 2 weeks?
I must say they increased. No, because I forget to talk about to you. There's a thing I need to tell you from Brazil. When I was watching the video, I remember. I don't know the date exactly, but Bolsonaro published a law saying that is not obligatory wearing masks anymore.
Really?
Yeah, in public spaces like churches, like groceries, like.
So now he's saying that you don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to.
Yeah, don't need to wear a mask.
But the irony is that, as we have seen everywhere, the headlines and international news, is that recently this week, 3 days ago, on Tuesday, the 7th of July, Bolsonaro tested positive. So he has been infected with COVID-19.
Yeah. He's not showing any how can I say that? I ever forgot the words.
He's not afraid. He's not showing.
Yeah, he's not concerned about his situation. It's just it's just more one more flu. I have, you know.
He's still saying it's one more flu.
Yeah. His actions shows that.
And we know that, okay, maybe he was one of the lucky ones that has mild symptoms, right?
Yeah.
But we know, and we have more and more studies coming out. There was a very recent one that came out from the UK, if I'm not mistaken, that shows, I mean, it's a topic we've spoken about since March, that says even mild symptoms, that doesn't mean that once you recuperate, once you are fine, that you are the same as before, right? You have people that had barely any symptoms, that maybe what happened is they couldn't smell or they couldn't taste. And months later, after they tested negative, they still can't smell, they still can't taste. And we know that there's neurological problems there that impacts your neurological system, smell and taste, for instance, right? We know people are fatigued even after they recuperate. They sleep more, they're more tired for weeks and weeks and weeks later. And we still don't know the side effects, all of the side effects, even the long-term side effects, right? So, and actually before I started speaking to you, I was, this latest study that I just said was talking about how there's concern and there seems to be the likelihood that COVID-19 also affects the heart. So there, it affects so many organs. It's not only the lungs, right? It's so many different parts of your body, and it, I don't know. I don't know why there's some people that still don't understand that you don't want to get this virus. And
me too, you know, me too. I can't understand that.
And a president, I mean, he's President Bolsonaro. Like, he has people that like watch him and do what he says and do what he does, right? I just wanted to make a correction from my part. The video, so in the last interview, I spoke about a video that I had seen on social media. I apologize, I made a mistake with the words, with how I described it. It wasn't the 3%, I don't know where I got that from. It was the 70%, so somos 70%. We are the 70%. And I just like looked for it while we were watching, and I saw this video and I posted it on the 4th of June. So it was a couple of weeks before we spoke. And it's a very powerful video because it showed exactly, it was a response to Bolsonaro's carelessness, right? Bolsonaro saying, whatever, people die, everybody must die, you know, we live on. And it was a response, a reaction saying, we don't accept that anyone to be left behind in this pandemic. We are together, we work together. I see Bolsonaro, from what you say and from what has been on the news, also after he tested positive, that he's still in that
you know,
way.
that's something more. All the Bolsonaro family has something inside the not following the rules, you know, not just of the coronavirus pandemic, but around other things. And I know the younger son, he's a YouTuber, and he was banned. How can I say that?
Really? From YouTube?
Yeah, from the YouTube, because he says coronavirus is just one more flu. So the social media blocked her.
Good.
His access.
Good.
And he's not working as a YouTuber now.
Good.
So all the family has the same thoughts, same type of thoughts.
You know, it's there's this debate, right? If a social media platform should be allowed or not to ban certain people or certain things, because freedom of speech, because so many of those reasons around freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And I agree, it's a little bit difficult, because if you can ban one thing, then it opens the doors to the possibility of banning other things. That is true. However, we are not living in normal times. This is not 2019. This is not 2008. This is not a normal era. And it's a pandemic, and whatever lies you say, they don't just affect Diego and the
Yeah.
followers of Diego. They affect Diego, the followers of Diego, and me, and everybody
Yeah.
else.
Hmm.
And so, no, it's not okay for you to lie. It's not okay for you to choose I call it choose an ignorance. It's not
Hmm.
okay.
The things I think he is not lying about from himself. You know, for her, he's saying the truth. You know, he believes in what he's saying.
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I would say, okay, fine. But now it's July. You have had 7 months to inform yourself, to really think, okay, this is not happening only in Brazil. This is happening in the world. I have access to internet. Let me check what other scientists are saying. Let me figure out what a pandemic is saying. So, no. Mm-mm.
Maybe it's just ignorant people, you know, ignorant person.
Yeah, but that's also an excuse.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
few people in the world are just ignorant because they can't they just can't absorb information, you know.
Hmm.
Now 21st century globalization, internet, knowledge in your fingertips. No, you're ignorant because you choose to. At a certain, if you have access to books, if you have access to internet, if you can read, if you can understand things, then it's just an excuse now.
Yeah, I agree
My
with you.
opinion.
Hmm.
My
Hmm.
opinion. You at the beginning of the video, you said you were shocked. You were shocked that this was happening in Brazil. You were shocked
Hmm.
that your president was acting this way. And now you said that when I asked you if about your hopes and concerns, now you said that today, 10th of July, they're actually bigger. They're more than 2 weeks ago, right? Why is that?
Because now I feel it's more like consciousness and not about the laws or something like that. Like I said, Bolsonaro published a law about it's not more obligatory wear a mask. So if you believe in Bolsonaro, you will not wear a mask. But if you believe in a World Youth Organization, you will wear a mask. So that there's two sides of one thing, you know, the Bolsonaro's opinion and the whose opinion. Which will you follow? You know, the consciousness,
Yeah.
or I think
It's
it's more about that.
yeah,
Something.
it's a mixture, right? Are you selfish or you're not? Because in the end,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Because this pandemic has proven over and over and over again that it's not about you. Like what you do is not going to affect you.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, it seems that there's no karma, right? It's not that you do something bad happens to you. No,
Yeah.
you do something bad, you might be
Hmm.
okay, but for sure, you will hurt somebody else.
Hmm.
And yeah, if he's saying no masks, if he's saying it's just the flu, if he's saying don't social distance, if he's saying
You know, Brazil is a country where the uncertainty has more power than I think more other countries, because here if like you know Bolsonaro's published a law like that, you can think, oh, okay, I'll not go outside my house, but I'll too go to my a places where there's not enough people, not too much people, but I'll go outside. Like I think I said in last video that I was concerned about the flexibilization. Maybe people starting to go outside, not follow the rules, etc.
Yeah.
But now I think it's here in Brazil. It's time to learn how to live with the coronavirus. You know,
It depends though,
uh,
because it is dangerous. It's
yeah,
dangerous. If you don't do it well, you cannot learn how to live. The only way
yeah,
you can learn how to live with it is if your healthcare system is prepared.
yeah.
If you have contact tracing, if you have the system of contact tracing that if you get infected, I call, hello, Diego, you have tested positive. Could you please inform me where you were? Who were you with? Oh, I was with Laura. Hello, Laura, you were with Diego, who, you know, if you have that in place, if you have testing in place, if you have measures in place in order not to get everybody sick and everybody, you know, I was watching, it's a very, very dangerous way of thinking, of saying, let's just learn how to live without anything ready. You have to have the things ready, because what we see right now are deaths and infecteds and problems that were caused by only very few people being infected, very few.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do anything, then it's going to be more people infected, and it's going to be a higher increase of problems and deaths and everything. Because don't forget, I was watching the news and I saw that you have around 60,000 new cases a day in the last few days, right? So that is 60,000 new people that have the virus. That is 60,000 people that will have to, some people will be okay, but other people will not be okay, you know, either in the 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months that they're sick, or even after, and some are going to die. And that's one day. In one day, you're having 60,000 people. And those 60,000 people, they're with other people. So it's a virus that spreads, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you can learn. We have to learn how to live with the virus, yes, but we have to learn how to live with it smart. So with everything prepared, with the fact, if I don't have to work in the office, I don't work in the office. I work at home.
Mm-hmm.
If I yes, I want to go dancing. Yes, I want to go eat a pizza in a restaurant. Of course, who doesn't want to do that? Do I do that? No. No, I can dance in 2 years. I can dance in my living room. I'm not going to go risk my health, because even though I'm healthy, it's a risk. Why would I risk? It's like you're playing Russian roulette. Why? No? And it's a risk to you, right? So it's we have to learn, but carefully.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share for your
No.
story? No?
I said everything.
You said everything? Okay, then the last question.
Okay, please.
2 weeks ago, I was asking you about a message to yourself, to give a message to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now my question is, if you could speak to, if you could tell a message, give a message to the people that are going to watch your story,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're Brazilians or people that come from a country that is worse off than Brazil or better off than Brazil, so it doesn't matter the situation, what would you tell them? What message would you tell them based on this experience with me, with 14 days to change of, you know, you saw changes from how it changes 2 weeks, just the pandemic in Brazil, your experience, what would you tell them?
Be consciousness, you know, be conscious and forget about all the fake and follow your feelings, your morals, your thoughts and your beliefs. Just continue to live your life following the rules from the big organizations. And if you are here, listen to me as I said to myself, you are a survivor too. So you be a survivor days after today. So is that be conscious.
Be conscious. I like it. It's needed. Diego, it has been really nice talking to you. I'm a little bit sad that in the 2 weeks since we've spoken, things have not improved in Brazil. They've
Yeah.
gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that it's never too late, right? We know that we can change, we can make a difference in the pandemic. 14 days is really the name of the series because you can start seeing a change in 14 days, after 14 days. So I really hope that in the next 14 days, in the next months, Brazil, things in Brazil improve.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Me too.
yeah. Thank you very much, Diego, and have a good day. I'll have a good evening.
For you too. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.